Welcome back to the channel. Now we've got all our 4UAD parts and a better hop and a better barrel, better hop rubber and a better hop unit in this bad boy. But we did buy some other bits. So I got another outer barrel and we also bought this. So here we have an upper receiver, which is for the VFC. Nothing really else in the box there. It's not the cheapest, but it's also not like, it's not expensive compared to some of the stuff that I've bought in the past. And we've got a spare outer barrel here. I didn't go for the steel one because I don't see the point. I don't want it excessively heavy. But if you want more realism, they do steel barrels. I don't think this is steel anyway. I'm pretty sure it was an aluminium barrel. Yeah. Steel base. Which I suppose is nice. So that is going to fit on here. Like so. Again, it was just the best that I could get for what I wanted to do. Doesn't quite sit like flush with this. It like sits closer here. So is that going to cant it down? Interesting. So maybe you see this, but it like the barrel cants down slightly. It's almost like this has been mismachined. But anyway. We've got the barrel here, so I'll slide that on there, and I'm going to try and finally make a use for this real steel gridlock handguard. Now we can just dry fit it and see what's going on. So let's put the barrel nut on here. The barrel nut has seen better days. This is how it was when I got it. So barrel nut will go on there like that. And then I'm probably going to want to just reduce the barrel slightly so it comes to about here, and then have the suppressor, well, inevitably have the suppressor starting. Doesn't want to go all the way down, so there's a gap. I don't know. Is it not going to be able to be? That isn't going to work. If there's a gap there like that, it's not going to be any good. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to screw that on even more. So the gridlock, this is a real steel rail, isn't going to work, I don't think. It looks horrendous, doesn't it? I mean, you could just slap it on here for now. It's a shame because I wanted to have like an integrally suppressed short bolty, which is what this kit's for. Ah, man, never goes to plan, does it? So we're going to have to rethink the strategy on the rail. Do I have a rail handy? Probably not. So it sucks, but it is what it is. Let's just pop this on there for now, just as a placeholder. And basically what this is, it's a replacement upper. So we just pop the pins out on your VFC. You take the upper, pop the front pin in. Obviously you will have assembled your inner barrel and such. Like that. Now you do want to cock the hammer to get the hammer spring out the way because it interfaces with this block here. And close that down, and there you go, it's straight on there. It is a little bit loose fitting, not horrendous, and then that's what's going to give you a bolt action AR. Now you might be thinking, well, this is kind of dumb, but honestly I think it's kind of genius because you can have your normal gas blowback M4, and then if you want to do some sniping, but you don't want to go and commit to buying a proprietary sniper platform, whether it's spring, whether it's gas, you can just run the same mag. So again, that's something you're not going to have to go and buy, and it comes with the bolt. So all you need to do is just put the barrel and other components on the front end and give it a whack. So I need to find a barrel that has the right cuts on it. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to fit anything to this gun. So all my barrels are like MWS cut, which I'm just realising now isn't the best. Do we have any others? I have a super long barrel. That's an AG barrel. Well, that sucks, but it is what it is. It's the problem with not switching over to a new platform, you see, because I'm all MWS. So I want a barrel. I've got a ton of barrels. I do have a Crazy Jet downstairs actually, so let me go grab that. Right, we've actually got something, so we're going to try it with this rail instead. But I bought this for the GHK G5. Now we're doing the hybrid lower kit on the GHK G5, but the G5 has some issues, and I did order this from Fire Support, which is a hop and chamber upgrade kit, but they sent me the wrong barrel size. So it was meant to come with the shorter barrel size for the G5, but the one they sent me was 310mm, which is too big. But I'm hoping we might be able to get away with, just for the time being, using this in this VFC instead. So with the Maple Leaf Crazy Jets, we do have all the correct cuts, and the only downside to these Crazy Jets is, like, if you buy one it's slightly too long, which this is obviously going to be, it's not like I can just go downstairs and turn it down the lathe to get to the right point, because we lose the actual Crazy Jet function of it. So let's build this bolt action upper. We'll take this rail system off, because I planned, I'm going to be honest with you now, I'd planned this whole project around this rail. Since I took this off the MTW, I've yet to find something that it will go on that, you know, makes sense, and this was going to be it, but it doesn't fit properly. I could go in with the lathe, and it looks like someone already might have done it, but I could go in with the lathe and I could bore this out slightly. I could measure the gap distance, cut this down on the lathe on the inner surface here and get it to fit. So it might not be completely, you know, unusable, but for the interest of time, we want to get cooking, don't we? We want to get this thing built. So the other hop chamber, what did I do with it? I had it literally just a second ago. I think I'm losing my mind. So we can build our second Magnus hop chamber. This box has seen better days. It looks like it's been melted almost. Very weird. At least now we've got an indication or a better understanding of how this all goes together. So first, what we're going to do, we're going to pull our quad hot rubber out. Put this to one side. We're going to need to trim it like we did last time. So we're just going to line this up. Trim it. You just got to make sure you don't go through the rubber. So we're going to trim that. We're going to take out all our gubbins here, which majority of it is spares. I'm still not sure what that little O-ring's for. Still don't see anywhere for it to go. Maybe it's meant to go on here somewhere. Really don't know. But same as the other instructions, it doesn't mention that small thin O-ring. So I'm at a loss as to where it's meant to go. If you know, put it down in the comments below. So we can take our hot rubber, slide it onto our maple leaf barrel. I'm guessing this is the barrel that folks usually go for. We're going to just lube the outside of this bucking up slightly. Just be careful not to get any on the inside. And all this is going to do is it's going to lube it up so we can get this little collar over the rubber itself. See, with lubing that, it makes it very easy. So that's on. With this, we just need to pull it apart, take all the bits and pieces out. We need to move the three little pins out the way so we can slide in our inner barrel. And when we slide it in, that black collar locks in with the hop unit. Now they could clean that tolerance up just a little bit better. Maybe they need it there to as not to cause any issue. We take our collar, and that was very tight fitting on the aluminium barrel that we had, but on this Crazy Jet it just goes straight on, so no drama. And then while that's fitted, we spin this collar on this system and it perfectly lines up our barrel, making sure everything's straight there, which it is. So that's the barrel locked in. Next we take our preferred hop arm, which we want the concave one, like that one there, you see. Slide that into the hop unit, and then before we put this part back in, as before, I'm just going to put the tiniest bit of lube residue just to make sure it doesn't get stuck or dry out. And then that we can basically push in, locks into there. Make sure it spins, which it does. That's all the way off. We have our thicker little O-ring which goes over the front of the barrel with our thick collar. And then we have our shim which goes on the back there. The rest of these parts, so we're not using that of course. Those are some spare pins with the little O-ring that I still don't know where it goes. It must go somewhere because it's in there. So we've got our little collar. We're going to fit this together now. This is very easy as well. They've got this little silver pin on the side. Store this in here like that. That clicks into place. There we go, all fitted and nice. Get our outer barrel, which that is the top, that is the bottom. Get that situated. See, it now has a little bit more resistance. And what we need to check now, which might be a failing, again, the barrel's sticking out, don't worry. I'll just order the correct size once I know what's going on and how I'm building this thing. It's literally just a placeholder. Is this rail gonna be okay? So I'm unsure what to go with the barrel route now. I think I might just modify. It's not the end of the world modifying that Strike Industries rail, because if I wanted to fit it to something else in future, the material that we've removed we can just space out with a shim. So let's get this took apart. So with the Mark 18s, they are a bit of a pain because you have to strip the two halves and get access to these screws here underneath. Maybe we should go longer on the the bolt action upper. I'm just a fan of short stuff, having it short with a suppressor, because I imagine this thing with a good suppressor is going to be nice and quiet. Now, will this barrel nut fit? Looks like it fits just fine. Slide this over like that. Put on our barrel nut. Am I going to have to go fetch my armourer tool, or is this one going to work? Might be alright. So this will just place the rail on. It's annoying that the, you know what? We're just going to have that hold the barrel on for now, because it's going to be a long video and all I really want to do is test this thing. So it's a 310mm barrel, which is too long, but what are you going to do? I've got some gas mags. So let's quickly just test what it sounds like. This is a Stanag mag. Now when the mags are empty, it will lock the bolt to the rear and hold it. You just push down your bolt release and you can push it forward like that. So not loud at all. We do have, I believe, if we pop this open, and the bolt just comes out really easy. We do have a valve on this, I believe. So I think it's just a 1.5mm Allen key. So will that interface? It looks like a 1.5mm Allen key. I'm using a 2 because I'm a dumbass. There we go, 1.5. And what does the adjustment do? So we wind it in. So clockwise in, looks like it's reducing the power. anti-clockwise. I don't want to remove the grub screw. I'm just going to adjust that until it starts to push it, and we'll leave it there. So we need to do a quick chrono of this thing and see what it's doing, because apart from that valve, we don't really have a way of, you know, unless we had maybe a higher powered hammer spring. So let's put a couple of BBs in this mag. Doing this by hand because I'm unprepared. Just whack a couple of rounds in just so we can chrono it. These are 2.5s. That goes in, everything's locked in. Now it does actuate the buffer spring. You can leave the buffer spring in. When you close the receiver, it doesn't drop the buffer spring forward. Let's see what we're doing on a 2.5. 2.5. Oh, it's much louder with the a round in it. So 1.9 joules. So that's not bad at all. That's with the valve all the way open. And of course, we haven't adjusted the hop, so there's no hop on this at the moment. Can we make it quiet? So let's just put a. Again, this isn't going to be using all of the STFU suppressor because the barrel is running through a good third of it. It should give us an indication as if we can quiet this thing down. Let's fire it in the other box. Let's take it back off. I think most of the noise really is coming from the hammer. So it doesn't really sound like all that loud. It doesn't sound very loud, if that's making sense. So let's get some more BBs. Right, very unprepared with these videos today. Probably a little bit too excited to start filming and checking out some of this cool stuff. Right, some more BBs loaded. I'm going to pop the chrono on the catch box and I'll just read out to you what we're doing for consistency. So this is still 0.25s, 2.2 joules, 2 joules, 1.7 joules, 2.1 joules. They're not loading perfectly into the chamber. They're getting stuck. You have to kind of like push the bolt in a quick motion. So 2 joules banged on, 2.12, 2.16. Again, we've jammed up. 2.2, jammed up again. So it's not loading them in, and they're getting like jammed in. So I'm having to like drop a round out. So you kind of have to like really push it forward. If you do it slowly, it just jams. 1.97 joules, 2.1, 2.1, 2.05, 2.17, 2.08, and we're empty. So I'm just going to show you what was going on with the chrono here. Shop memo. So 424, 433, 432, 421, 434. So as little as 411, or as little as 392 there, and as high as 437. So there is a bit of a consistency thing going on. Not the most consistent, but it is, like I say, brand new. We also need to make sure all this is tightened down. Let's get our armourer's wrench here, and we'll just nip this up. So I need to go back to the drawing board on what rail I'm going to use. And I could just throw this on, but it's kind of like redundant because I'm going to be changing it anyway. I need to order some proper barrel sizes, so I'll order some Crazy Jets, maybe 2 barrels. I think that's going to be about 250. the length for that. So this is a 310 barrel. So it's 45mm too long. So about a 250, 260-ish barrel should be fine. And yeah, it's kind of strange. It's really threw a spanner in the works because I was hoping to get this built with that Strike Industries handguard. But, you know, I'll have this when it's built with a, you know, maybe like an LPVO on it or something. If I fancy, want to do some sniping, but I don't want to. Again, I'm not having to use proprietary mags with gas snipers. If you get them running correctly, you can have them insanely quiet. So we can just throw our normal upper back on with just 2 pins, and we can be back on the go with P-mags. They do. What I do like about VFC is you can get, and you do have to be careful with the versions because they've done so many versions now. Make sure you get the version 3 mags. You've got the Stanags, which they do a couple of different versions of, where they've got like it in grey. They do it without the markings on the bottom. They do them in black. They do BCM style ones. They do 416 ones. You've got the P-mags, which would be nice if they did P-mags in tan as well, but I don't think they do. So you've got the P-mags. You can get the short 20-round VN style mags. So VFC have lots on offer for magazines, but also they're easy to get hold of, where MWS, I think that's what's hurting the MWS community at the moment, is no one can get like genuine MWS mags. It's very difficult at the moment. So bit of a weird video for you there. It's a very weird part. I would have liked to have, in this video, I was going to build it. I was going to put my rail on. I was going to get a scope on there. So things I need to do. I need to get inner barrels of the correct size for both. I need to go back to the drawing board on the rail. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do now. I would like to run it with an STFU suppressor, so maybe something nice and short. Keep the 10.5 barrel length. Get a rail that comes right up to just before the end of the barrel here, and then run an STFU and have it nice and quiet. So thanks, Junior, as always. I know it's not like the most super exciting video, but I'm just, while I'm messing with stuff on the bench here, I'll always throw the camera on and take you guys along for the ride as well. So thanks, Junior, as always. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you think. Let me know what setups you're running in your VFCs. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.